Redditors who have outrun cops. How'd you do it? Don't know if this counts, but my friends and I were busted for being 19, 20, and drinking at a party. Everyone ran but I hid, and they ended up never finding me. I spent an entire 7 hours pretzeling in a woven basket in a closet, wide awake and slowly sobering. The scariest part was when they started searching said closet right after the bust, and the cop moved clothes from above my head to reveal my hair and still didn't see me. Good times. There were a lot of people, and I was faster than 50% of them. The benefit of smoking pot in a forest and getting caught is that you're in a forest. We just took off, lol. Hard to catch up when there's all kinds of to avoid. Hanging out at friend's house when my mom texts me to inform me that my girlfriend is on her way back from college to surprise me. My girlfriend hated this dude, so I didn't tell her I was there and had recently told her I was home. I jump in the car and start flying home on a road I should definitely not be flying on. As God fated, I pass a cop and see him hit his brakes in my rear view. I instinctively floor it over the hill, pull into a parking lot, and cut my lights off. Nighttime. Few seconds pass and I see him fly by with his wee-woos on. With no time to spare, I pull back out soon after and finish flying home. Run inside, jerk my clothes off, lay on the couch, turn on the TV, and she knocks on the door. Not 5 seconds later. Mission accomplished. On my way to a concert on a motorcycle, I was kinda racing another bike up the highway. Went past a state boy at about 100 mph and jumped off the next exit, the correct exit for the concert. Basically, I was able to get past the line of traffic into the event and scoot around a gate that was closed by riding onto the footpath. Made my way to an area where there was literally 100+ bikes. Ditched my helmet, removed the jacket, and sat on a picnic table while they went around and around and around looking for me. So, not so much outran but outplayed. Thankfully, they never got close enough to read my plate. I was crack powered, and cops aren't really that fast. On foot versus cop car. Ran halfway into a residential block through backyards, aware that they saw which direction I went. Once they were out of sight, I doubled back and ran half into the block in the opposite direction. Sat quietly in a bush. They circled a few times and left that block. I didn't do anything. Just ran when a cop car drove by. I was a bored kid. Why'd that random kid run into those bushes? I dunno. Let's drive around a few times and freak him out. Running into the woods from a bonfire party. Knew from previously running into the woods where the barbed wire fence was and how to get through it. The cop in the dark did not. He was 15 feet behind me, then 100 feet behind me real fast. Wasn't worth giving me the mip, so he turned back after that. Yeehaw. If he had seen my face, I wouldn't have run. With my car among everyone else's sitting there, I would have felt way too paranoid driving later. Running. Me and my friends were on the cross-country team. We casually ran 2 miles away. In a town with a small police force, hid, then placed an anonymous call tipping the police off that we were back at the scene of the crime, so the officers following us would return there. I have silently dipped out of a group as the cops were fast approaching, but never had to actually outrun them. My time to shine. I was 17 and dumb. On my way to a meeting a few towns over. Where I live is so flat you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. So there are often long stretches of road in an open field. I was turning left onto a 2-lane highway when I saw these 2 cars blow past me, going the direction I was going, at least 90 miles per hour. I said, well, let's make this a convoy. I got up to about 120 to catch up to them, and I was about with them when I saw a semi-truck coming in the opposite direction. I thought to myself, man, how boned would I be if there was a cop driving behind that semi? Sure as God's got sandals. There was a cop driving behind the semi. The first 2 cars passed, and I just saw his lights come on as I passed him. I thought, oh duck. Reckless OP. Jail. I'm going to lose my license. I'm ducked. I start slowing down and reach into my wallet for my license when I see a house coming up on my right on a small side street. There was the house and a two-car garage off to the side. I slammed on my brakes and took the turn, and I pulled right into this perfect stranger's open garage like I own the place. I get out, shaking, because I'm not out of the woods yet. I walk out of the garage and up to the front door of the house and knock. An old lady answers, and I tell her I'm here to work on my car, and asked if Jack was home. All BS. She said no. I'm sorry. I profusely apologized and turned around. Just then I saw the cop fly past the house in hot pursuit of the other two cars. I got back into my car and took back roads for the rest of the trip. Not sure if related, but having a police scanner as a teenager kept me more than one step ahead. A mate who had one of those saved our asses years ago. We were young. It was the end of high school, and we were on a scavenger hunt. Obviously a few people had stolen people's stuff for points, and members of the public had called the cops. Someone called the cops and reported 50 plus cars at the local cattle sale yards, a place that should be deserted at 10 PM on a Friday. We got a call from our scanner-owning mate. Shouted at everyone there that the cops were inbound and the place cleared like something from a movie, except 90% took the one tarred road out and were met by cops. Those of us who knew the back dirt road floored it. Headlights off until we were a decent distance away. We escaped clean, while a heap of others got a nice long lecture, but no actual convictions. The only person I've ever known to outrun a cop was on a fast dirt bike Honda XR500 in a small town with lots of dirt trails. Also in the 80s. Cops were coming to bust a party I was at. They arrive and I walk out the front door right past them to my car with a smile and a wave. I drove past the second cruiser on my way out of the neighborhood. Almost half the party got arrested, and the other half ran and got arrested. I train a lot. Run 5-6 days a week. 1 long day, usually 1 interval day, and 3-4 easy days. So I signed up for the local police fundraiser 5K. Beat all the cops to the finish line. I told them they should add more speed work to their training if they want to catch me next year. They aren't typically known to be the picture of health, to be honest. You do get that one cop who's a part-time Olympic athlete, but they're few and far between. So since there's no official language in the US, you can't be required to speak English, and if you don't speak English, it's incumbent on the courts and police to find a translator. Not too hard for Spanish or French, but when you start branching out, even cities have problems. I got pulled at one of those bullshit. The highway speed limit is 55. The town speed limit is 25. There's one sign, and the cop is in a bush right behind the sign. Money makers that a lot of small towns and rural areas like to use. I was doing 65 like anyone else, so he had me cold doing 40 over. This was in Kentucky near the O-line at about 3 AM. I spent a few years in West Africa, and I happen to be fluent in more. I also have a nicely ambiguous name that doesn't automatically lead to must speak English. So even though I have a US license, I just decided on the spot to only speak more and to acknowledge no English at all. I figured, he wants to write a bullshit ticket, I'll make him work for it. The officer tried his best. I was from a long way out of state. He knew I wasn't coming back to contest it. That ticket was a few $100s for his town. I thought he might just write the ticket and hand it to me anyway, but either he couldn't or wouldn't do it. After 45 minutes of trying to explain, he finally gave up. Didn't even give me a warning. Just handed the paperwork back. Said it's duckers like you that make me hate this ducking job, and went to his car and drove off. To this day, I have no idea if that last comment was just frustration, or if he knew I understood. He was at a full stop, and I was over 100, so I kept going. I'm not gonna slam on the brakes to get arrested when he can't even make out my plates. Was with a friend running, suspecting that cops had been called, and we hid in a bush. I turn to my friend and say, we need to go, but we have to walk. So we step out of the bush and not 20 seconds later a cop car drives straight past us. Didn't even slow down. More often than not, if you act innocent, people think that you're innocent. As a kid, out with friends at night chucking eggs at some person's house, having a blast, laughing. When we see a car come around the corner, just headlights visible, as it's night. Being brazen little beasts, my friends continue to chuck eggs at the house as I decide to hit the car with an egg. And I did too. Perfect shot. Right broke right in the center of the windshield. And then the cherries came on. Sht. The call goes out. Coops. And all my friends scatter every which way, running like idiot vandal kids running from the cops. I made a split-second decision and decided not to run. The cops' headlights weren't directly on me, and I was mostly in the dark and wearing dark clothing, so I dropped to the ground, rolled into the ditch, and quickly did my best to cover myself with weeds and grass I uprooted. So the cop car goes driving past me, just crawling so slowly, with the search light playing all around. I'm pretty much convinced I'm caught when one of my friends breaks from his hiding place down the street and runs off. The cop car squeals off after him, leaving me safe. I was home and in bed in my PJs about 5 minutes after that. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe,